Let's set the scene. You've got a multi-million-dollar deal on the line. Maybe you're launching into a new market. Everything is moving, and it's moving fast.
And then, someone on the board asks that one simple but incredibly hard question. Are we really ready? And more importantly, what could stop us? You know, it's a question that needs one single, confident answer.
But that's not what you get, is it? Instead, you get chaos. Your security team points to one dashboard, the privacy folks have their own spreadsheets, and compliance, well, they've got a completely different set of folders. Everyone is working hard, for sure, but nobody's telling the same story. And that's not just messy, it's actually dangerous.
Right, so that fragmentation, that inability to get a straight answer, it has a real business cost. This is the moment where siloed risk management stops being just an internal headache and starts becoming a direct roadblock to revenue.
You know, there are really two ways to operate. On the left, you've got what's probably familiar to a lot of us. Tangled spreadsheets, teams doing the exact same work for different audits, and reports that are stale the second they're printed. But on the right, that's where we want to be. A single source of truth, the ability to test a control one time and use it everywhere, and dashboards that show what's happening right now.
And here's the bottom line. This isn't just about being inefficient. This whole problem has a real, tangible price tag. It hits you in two ways, the money you might lose and the money you can't make fast enough. First, let's talk defense. The average cost of a single data breach in the US is now over $10 million. Let that sink in. That's the potential bill for having slow, inconsistent, and broken risk management.
But honestly, what's more exciting is the offense. What if you could cut down the delays in your sales cycle? You know, the ones caused by all that security and compliance back and forth, by 25%. That's how you turn a cost center into a sales machine. You're getting answers to customers faster and closing those big deals sooner.
So how do we actually get there? Well, the answer isn't just another piece of software or creating another department. It's about a fundamental shift in how the entire business operates. It's called an integrated risk operating model.
So what exactly is integrated risk management, or IRM? Sure, it's an organization-wide discipline, but the words you really need to hear are decision-making and performance. This is all about connecting all those scattered risk activities to actually push the business forward, faster.
This is a huge mindset shift. We have to stop thinking about this stuff as just a compliance tool. We need to start seeing it for what it is, a decision-making engine for the business. It's the system that gives you and your leaders a clear, trustworthy view to make smarter, faster calls on literally everything.
So, how does this engine actually work? Well, it's built on 4 key pillars. First, a risk framework that actually speaks the language of the business, not just tech jargon. Second, you have one shared library of controls, which immediately kills all that duplicate work. Third, an evidence process that's always on, not some last-minute fire drill before an audit. And finally, real-time dashboards that don't just give you data, but tell you how much you can actually trust that data.
And this is where it gets really practical. Just look at that first row. A single review of who has privileged access creates one evidence packet. Now, that one packet can be used to satisfy your SOC 2 auditors, your PCI auditors, and even those demanding enterprise customers. That is the power of test once, reuse many. It's a massive, massive efficiency game.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Absolutely. This is a proven model that takes companies from total chaos to genuine business clarity. Let's look at the proof. Let's talk about a real-world fintech company. We'll call them Northbridge Pay. They were growing like crazy, getting buried in audits and trying to expand into Europe. Sound familiar? They decided to go all in on this exact operating model.
And check out these results after just 1 year. They collected audit evidence 45% faster. They got through vendor security reviews 35% faster. And the amount of wasted, duplicated work across their teams dropped by 40%. These aren't just compliance metrics. These are business velocity metrics.
So what did all those numbers actually mean for the business? Well, it meant their sales cycles got faster. It meant getting approval for their European expansion was way smoother. And, maybe most importantly, their board meetings went from stale PowerPoint slides to live, trustworthy dashboards. For the first time, leaders could make decisions with real, genuine confidence. Which brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation, your role in all this. A change this big, it doesn't just bubble up from the bottom. It needs clear, decisive sponsorship from the top to have any chance of succeeding.
So what does that sponsorship actually look like?
It really boils down to 3 key actions. First, you approve a single language for risk across the entire company, so everyone's finally telling the same story. Second, you fund the whole operating model, the process changes, the training, not just a software license. And third, you demand dashboards you can actually trust, with clear ratings on how confident you can be in the data.
So, it all comes down to this. The next time that big deal's on the table and the board asks if you're ready, is your current process going to be the thing that accelerates the win? Or is it going to be the roadblock that puts the whole thing at risk? Really, the choice is yours.